Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to give kind of an example of how things don't have to be, okay, the way things could be. That's better. I think many of us have noticed, have realized, depending on your age, that, or many things it could depend on, that more and more often, more and more obvious, at least to me and where in my area, I can't say it's everywhere, I'm not going to say it's everywhere, I'm going to say it's all the time. I don't like that kind of thinking, black and white thinking. But at least what I've seen over the years is that people have become more like narcissistic. Some would just throw them all into that. Narcissistic behaviors. All about them, self-centeredness, whatever it takes to get what they want, this kind of thing. And I've also noticed it in businesses. Okay, there are so many things. You can have it at jobs. You can have it in your family. Okay, in your friends, your family, your, like I said, jobs, work, school, wherever, you can see it. And it's just becoming more and more prevalent. It's more obvious even because there's more information out there, for one thing, about it. But it doesn't have to be. Okay, it does not have to be one-sided. And I'm afraid that so much has come about that people think it has to be one-sided. One has to benefit and the other one one takes, and one gives, and one takes. I can remember hearing that when I was a child. Some people are givers, some people are takers. It doesn't have to be. It can be mutual. Okay, what do they call it? What was the expression for that? You wash my back, I'll wash yours, or something, whatever it was. But it can be mutual. Both people, or both whatever's gaining from it. It's beneficial to them both. Not just one-sided, but more and more lately I've seen that people think they have to take it all. It's all for them, Like if you have at work, you have a pizza party and they bring pizza and there's somebody who just piles their plate with as much pizza as they can, slices. Have you ever experienced that? I have seen it. You see what I'm saying? Anyway, I want to give a hypothetical, fictional kind of story about this, okay? Okay, I wrote a little rough draft kind of thing, like a little highlights kind of thing, fictional, like I said. So I'm going to try to read it. Hopefully it makes sense because I wrote this back in, 3.5 months ago. But anyway, I wrote, years ago, the elders of Victorson County, which is all, like I said, fictional, wanted to work with the county south of them, south of that county, to develop manufacturing and distribution. Okay, the county of Victorson is, like I said, fictional, and they basically have one area where the outcasts live, and they had named that town that back in the, Wild Wild West kind of days, and they had all the outcasts, the jails and brothels and stuff like that there, and they just never changed it. But that's where all the manufacturing and distribution and stuff like that's done now. But they don't want to deal with them because these are people who are generally ruthless, and they run the show. And so the elders want to, the county, they want to have their own area. So they tried to do that with the county south of them, and they need to buy some property from them. They want to make some RV parks and different kinds of things. But the county is a small county and it's a poor county, and they refuse. They just felt like they were going to be taken over. They were used to the ruthless type too. They're used to the ruthless type. The elders are not. So anyway, that smaller county, they refused. Now, when the elders, years passed, and the elders, they really wanted to build new housing for the county, and on the outskirts, on the perimeters, for a variety of people. Like they're going to be doing a lot of construction work. People who wanted to get out of the outcast, that town of the outcast. Different people who were moving in that were from other places they were members of this group called the members, the original members. And so they could all these different types of people could have places to buy. Okay. Now in the county itself, and most of it, the person has to be a descendant from the original settlers and the original founders in order to buy property. That's a whole separate story. Anyway, so when the elders, made that decision that that's what they were going to do, that it really was time, and some of the members that were also elders decided they were going to go and do the negotiation and try. And they did. They went back, to the southern county and tried to negotiate. And they wanted to buy land for the RV parks, and they would have it on the border of these two, like crossing the borders of these two counties. And they wanted the manufacturing distribution too. And what they offered themselves was to help on new roads for that smaller county. Anything that they needed. It was a small county and poor. And a lot of poor people lived there. And so they also offered assistance in city planning by letting them use the services of two of their own city planners. Okay, they offer this. See, now this is mutually beneficial. Okay? And they just keep negotiating to make it mutually beneficial. It doesn't have to be one has to win, the other has to lose. It doesn't have to be one coming in and, just taking over the other. It doesn't have to be. But I think some people, not all, some have forgotten that. Anyway, they negotiated and they had a town hall meeting, with them. And basically the people, from the different towns and counties in that smaller county, they came in and they said they want it. They were tired of living poor, and they really thought this was going to be beneficial. And so they decided, they jumped on it. Okay, this, so much help. And they said they would offer even more assistance. Because really, when it comes down to it, like a county, if there's a county connected to it and they are thriving too, it helps all. But if one is very poor, think about it. Okay. So they said they would help them with whatever they need planning, because they were really good at it. The Victorson County, they were really good at it. Most people there were wealthy. Okay, now wealth is not always important. We know that. You don't have to be wealthy to be, But anyway, so they negotiated during the town hall meeting. People stood up and said what they thought, and as time went by, they jumped on it and they did thrive. They started to thrive. Almost immediately. Okay. And as time went by, the residents, that had been living poor for a long while, so many of them had just left because it was just too poor. And they started coming back, and they were working in different positions and moved, quote unquote, back home. How many of us have done that? People who had left before because it was just too poor. So it worked also for them because, they got the land they needed, the Victorson County, because they got the land they needed to build the RV parks, which the RV parks would have many people at first come into them that would be the construction workers who are going to do construction over the whole county and help that other small county. Okay, now this is, it helped them also not to have to get those, items from the outcast and town, So, and it helped the smaller county because they would have bigger places with bigger distribution, bigger stores, that could help them too. Okay, so that's mutually beneficial. But how often do you see that these days? Seriously, how often do you see it? I'm serious. I know where certain areas around here, it's bad. But you can go outside and you can see it. Smaller towns, smaller areas, ones that aren't, big areas. You can see that. But I think that some of it has just become so crooked. We used to use that word crooked instead of, I don't want to use that other word, but Anyway, but that was a little example. I mean, can you think of other kinds of examples where your places can work together and get things done, and it's beneficial to everybody? It's for many, not everybody. Nothing's everybody, but very few things in this life is everybody. But you get what I'm saying. And I really do wonder, will we ever go back to that kind of life where, it wasn't all dog eat dog? Seriously. Anyway, I like making little hypothetical, fictional stories about different things. Yeah. As examples. And this is, any resemblance to any person, place, thing, any of that kind of stuff is just simply coincidental. Living or dead, like they say. How's it go? Any resemblance to any person, both living or dead, is purely coincidental. I think it is. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. I mean, anyway, I think that's enough for this one. I'll talk to you in another video. Bye.